the Podfix Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 254 of the Filmmakers Podcast. This, as you know, is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to F it up, in our very humble opinion. Hello, I am Giles Alderson. My co-host today is Lucinda Rhodes-Takra, and the episode you are listening to is with the fantastic director, Philip Barantini. Philip has made an exceptional movie in Boiling Point. It truly is fantastic. And we dive deep into that, how he actually did it. A one-take movie. You've probably already heard of this movie. It's the Chef movie, starring Stephen Graham in one take. The movie also stars Vinette Robinson, Alex Feetham, Jason Fleming, Hannah Walters, Malachi Kirby, Taz Skylar, Ray Panthaki, and the wonderful Lourdes Faberes, who made short films with me. So the wonderful Lourdes is in this as well, as so many other incredible actors who did it all in one take, like a play. Philip dives deep into that. He also talks about how he went from acting to directing, because Phil Barantini was an actor. He has been in TV shows such as Time, Chernobyl, Humans, The Musketeers, and Dream Team. Of course. Also, on the episode, we talk about why understanding people's jobs is vitally important and why you can become petrified of directing TV. He talks about how he shot his debut movie Villain as a director in 18 days and why he made Boiling Point as a one-take movie in a lot less. He talks about how it went from a short and became the feature film, how he was a chef. He also talks about lenses and camera choices and his brilliant DP, Matthew Lewis. He only had 5 days with Stephen Graham, so how rehearsals were vital, and why directing is the best job in the world. All that is to come for you on this week's episode of the Filmmakers Podcast. How are you doing? Are you all right? Are you gearing up for Christmas? I'm not ready yet. I haven't got my presents. I haven't even put the tree up. But we did record our Christmas special yesterday. That was a delight. It's going to be so much fun. Pretty much all the hosts are on it. There's a few who aren't because they were filming, but it's a delight. It's fun. It's our Christmas quiz. It is going to be available for you on Friday, Christmas Eve. So if you're at a loose end, if you're traveling to folks, stick it on. Enjoy, because it's a laugh. We also give so much tidbits and information, what we've learned over the year as well, and what we can look forward to in 2022. And then next Tuesday, the 28th, we have our episode with Craze Code of Silence director Ben Mole and the screenwriter Luke Bailey, who joins myself and Lucinda Rhodes-Takra, who produced the movie, to chat how they made it. That's coming up for you next Tuesday. So the Xmas special is on Friday, and next Tuesday is with Craze Code of Silence team. Don't want to miss it. When we were recording the Christmas podcast, I was thinking about what making a film is like. It was one of the topics we never got round to discussing. But then it's really hard to put your finger on it. I've described it in the past that you are like a wedding planner. Except you're planning a wedding every day, but the bride's on fire and the groom's gone missing, etc., etc. I've described it like that before, but it's not exactly accurate. I was trying to think of other things, and I thought for a moment it was kind of like falling in love. Bear with me here. Because you see someone, right? You see that script. It's the best script in the world, and suddenly your heart races. You think, oh my God, I could direct that. Oh my God, this could be incredible. I could win awards with this film. This is it. My career's going to take off. It's going to go through the moon, right? And then you work so hard to cultivate that relationship, to make it work, to get the script into the best shape it possibly can be, and for you to find the right people to create that world, to make it the best it can be. And then for a moment, it is paradise. You are making the film. You are together. You're creating this amazing thing. And then the cracks start to appear. And then you finish the film. And you've done. And the crew go home. And the actors go off to other jobs. And suddenly it's just you in the edit room. And you're just left with all the scars. All the broken promises, the fights, and the mess. But then there's the makeup sex. You start kind of piece it all back together, bit by bit, and then you finish your movie. It's done. And you put it out, and distributor puts it out into the world. And you kind of have to let go. They break up with you, and you grieve for that loss. You grieve, and it hurts. Because that thing that once was is no longer. It's just this piece of you in your heart. You'll always be in love with it, but it kind of gone. That magic, that moment, it's there, but it's over there now. It's not here with you. It's on your shelf, or it's on a streaming platform. Lucky you if it is. And then one day, you're coming around the other side and you're moving forward with your life and you're feeling good. And there it is. What's that that's just passed by your eyes? It's the best script in the world. And you think, this could be the one. This is the one that wins me the awards and the Oscars. Just the money would be nice. But anyway, that's maybe what goes through your mind. And slowly you fall in love all over again. And that process repeats. I mean, look, it's a ridiculous metaphor. It's silly. It's not accurate. But I was trying to find something that might just fit. And basically what I'm saying by all this is go out there and find your love. Find the project that you really want to make with all your heart, and you're prepared to go through all that shit, all the scars, all the problems, all the betrayals, all the good stuff too. But if you're prepared to go through this shit, you'll be fine with the good stuff, believe me. And it hurts like hell. It does, but you'll never regret it. And that was a philosophical chat on these Christmas crispy mornings. Means shit. Toby will probably cut it. But here we are. It's amazing making films. It's the best thing in the world, and we want to inspire you with this podcast. This is why we do it. This is why I do it. So if that guff made any sense to you at all, then please run with it. If it didn't, ignore it. Do your own path. Doesn't matter. Listen to Phil. He's coming on in a minute. Listen to him. So, speaking of which, let's get to it. This is a wonderful episode. I really enjoyed this, chatting with Phil. It was such fun as well. But the fact of what he's achieved with this movie, it's really, really incredible. If you've not seen Boiling Point yet, go seek it out in cinemas. It is coming out on the 29th of December on streaming platforms as well. So that is something for you to look forward to going into the end of this year and into next year. Boiling Point, dare I say it, is a masterpiece of indie filmmaking. It's a fucking joy. Boiling Point was nominated for numerous awards at the BIFAs recently, including Best Director for Philip Barantini. It won in the categories Best Supporting Actress for Vinette Robinson, Best Cinematography, Matthew Lewis, Best Sound for Keith McManus, James Drake and Rob Entwistle, and Best Casting for Carolyn McLeod. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I can't say any more words than that. So enjoy your Christmas and New Year and sit back, relax, enjoy this fabulous chat with amazing director Philip Barantini, myself and Lucinda Rhodes Takra. Sit back, relax, and bon appetit. Hello. How's it going? Pretty good. How are you, buddy?
Good. Long time no see, mate.
I know, yeah.
How are you getting on, Phil? What's happening? All good?
Good, man. Yeah, really good. I've been doing ADR for this TV thing I've been doing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm actually in it, and I'm directing an episode, but then I've ended up doing loads of posts for it for other episodes as well. So,
mate, that's amazing. Is that the responder?
Yeah.
Ah, brilliant, mate. That must be cool though. Like, you now we're moving to TV, but you're also in it as well, you know, in terms of directing side.
Well, that wasn't like a choice really at the beginning.
They forced you to direct.
They forced me to be in it and direct it. No, what happened was I was talking to the producers about directing an episode or directing a block of it back in August last year. So they were back and forth, and it was like, yeah, we would love you to do it. We're just going to need to get the BBC on board. And then, you know, because I'd never done any TV. And then they were like, okay, then we, so they were originally going to do 3 blocks. And then they went down to 2 blocks, and they're like, look, we've got our opening block director. We're looking at a female for the second block. I was like, cool, fine, yeah, great. And they were like, I love the scripts. It's all set in Liverpool. I know the writer really well. And they were like, are you still, you know, acting? I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm sort of not really like pursuing it as hard as I used to, but I'm not saying no to it at the moment. And they were like, well, would you fancy maybe being in it a little? So I was like, yeah, I'd love to be in it. You know what I mean? It's a great show. It's great cast, and it's all at home. So I jumped at it, and then just before we started shooting, the producers called me and were like, right, we are now actually going to be doing 3 blocks. There's only 5 episodes, and the last block is the last episode. And the BBC have approved you, and we want you to direct the last episode. I was like, oh, okay, all right. But I'd only seen 3 scripts because the other 2 weren't written. So the last episode wasn't written. They were like, and then she was like, how do you feel about directing yourself? I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that, to be honest. Yeah, so it was a challenge. Like, I mean, I'm not going to say no, but it was hard. Because it's not why I got into directing in the first place. It's you know what I mean. I don't think I've got the brain capacity for 2. Like, and I know that now.
You obviously did it very well.
Well, I did it, yeah. But it was on the day. It was just like the extra added nerves that I didn't really want to have. Because it's nerve wracking enough directing something, especially a TV BBC One drama. Well, it was fine, but I just had to sort of rely on producer and my DP and playbacks. But the thing is, though, right? I whenever I act in anything, I hate watching myself back anyway. I just like to sort of do it and then rely on the trust in the director and be like, "Was that okay? Yeah, good. Let's. Oh, I'm happy with it."
If he's happy or she's happy, let's move on.
Yeah. If I feel it, then you just sort of do, don't you? That's it.
And then suddenly watching yourself back is really tough. I remember the first thing I ever directed, like on film or TV, it was a TV pilot for the BBC actually, and the director pulled out almost last minute, a week before, and I went, well, I'll do it, sod it.
Yeah.
Were you in it as well, Giles?
The problem was I was in it, and it was the worst I've ever been in anything. I just didn't know how to cope with. It was suddenly this moment to direct, and I fell in love with directing at that point. But suddenly I'm like, how do I direct myself? I felt like a dickhead going, okay, close upon me. I actually couldn't say it, and I had loads of extras, and I had to sing in it, and I was just like, oh God.
Yeah. That sounds like a lot more stress than what I had. I had a couple of scenes.
I had a couple of scenes, and I've said to myself, never again. I just went, unless I'm more experienced. At the time I was like, no, I wasn't ready for that. But at least you are, you've got this brilliant experience behind you. Boiling Point is incredible. Obviously you couldn't have been in that because one shot would have been really difficult. But I could see here with the responder why you could go, because it's already established a little bit. The looks established, the DP I imagine was the same, the writers established. So how interesting.
It was interesting, and it's actually funny because because I came in the morning and we sort of scheduled it so that it was the first thing up for me to do my little part, and get it out the way sort of thing. But it was a really emotional scene. I forgot to call cut for ages, and I'm like, oh God, sorry, cut. It's me, isn't it? I'm saying
you must have been really in it.
I was, I was. And it's sort of like, that's what I mean. Go back to saying like, I don't think I've got the brain capacity to do both. I don't know how people like, what's the name?
Eastwood, Ben Affleck.
All of them. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
They must have people. They must have a crew of people around them. Bradley Cooper.
When you've got amazing people around you, Clint Eastwood is known for going onto the golf course by 4 p.m. So he does one takes and moves on. If an actor wants to carry on, he's like, "Will you do it yourself?" I've got what I need. To all the best. So it's frightening. I think to do both. I don't know how people do it as a first timer. When you have to totally trust your team. Yeah. But if that team is also up and comers and.
Do
you think you'd do it again?
I don't think I would. No, I really don't think I would. No. I mean, I might, might do a little Hitchcock.
Yeah, that's fine, right?
That's fine.
Little cameo.
But little doing cameo, an emotional scene, like let's say if you were Jason Fleming's part in this, in Boiling Point, you wouldn't have been able to do it because you've got to watch and make sure the camera's doing what it wants to do, the performances. It's impossible. We'll get into Boiling Point in a bit, but we always like to sort of talk about how you got there, because it's really interesting, the fact that we love actors. We have a lot of actors who move into directing and vice versa, actually. But we think it's really interesting, and into producing. And that journey and how you do it, because it's really difficult, I think, to go from being an actor. Lucinda did it, being an actor and jump into producing, and people to take you seriously.
I think Phil and I have done the same show.
We have, yeah, we did Dream Team.
Dream Team.
Yeah,
Of course you did. Was that BAFTA nominated, that one, Lucinda, was it?
Oh, wow. He's gone there. Sorry. Phil, we have a bit of a giggle sometimes, Giles and I, so please excuse us. We're naughty hosts. We were in a show, Giles and I, just for the audience that don't know.
They all know.
Regulars.
No one cares.
Nobody cares. We were in a show, an internet drama called Cape Modern, and it was nominated for a BAFTA, for 3 BAFTAs. It didn't win any of them. It was a real poor show, but we just love bringing it up because
we love mocking and having fun. So apologies, but
no, listen, Dream Team was definitely not nominated for the BAFTA,
but it should have been.
I tried to get in Dream Team, must have auditioned for it 2-3 times, and I played football to a high standard. I was at Bradford City and shit, so I was like, how am I not getting in?
How are you not in it?
I must have been that bad. I was that.
And they had some bad actors in it as well. Yeah, they had some really bad actors.
Well, I on my audition, I was like, they were like, "Can you play footy?" I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah, to play for Liverpool."
Every actor said, "Did you?"
No, I didn't.
No, but I mean, you said that.
I said that. Yeah.
I
was just a cheeky scouser, me, when I was younger. Like,
that's amazing.
To anything to get the job.
Scouser.
Still a cheeky scouser. Yeah.
So, Phil, you were an actor and you did lots of wonderful things, such as Dream Team. And can you tell us a few more shows that you were in?
Well, I mean, I was lucky enough to be. I didn't really train as an actor when I was younger, so I was.
Did you not?
I just sort of fell into it, and got some auditions. Got an audition for a BBC One drama, which I got the part in to play David Morrissey as a young 15-year-old kid in some flashbacks, which was amazing, just an amazing experience. And from then on, I just was like, yeah, this is definitely what I want to do. And then actually the same casting directors who cast me in that were casting Dream Team, and they were like, we're casting Dream Team in a couple of weeks. The second series, do you want to? You should come and audition for it. And I was like, oh my God, I'd love to, yeah. So I ended up going in for that. And then, I had 5 auditions later after all the lies I'd told about me playing football. And then I didn't realize you have to have a football audition for it.
Yeah,
you have to do a proper football audition.
You have to really be able to play football.
But do you know what? I'm not bad. I'm not a bad footballer.
You're good enough, right?
I'm good enough, yeah. I'm good enough to look like I know what I'm doing.
It's certainly on Dream Team, yeah.
So I ended up getting a part in that. And then, from there, it was just like, while I was in Dream Team, I did it for 2 seasons. And they wanted me to come back for the 3rd season. But while I was just like maybe a few months prior to finishing up the 2nd season, I was sneakily auditioning for Band of Brothers, and I didn't realize I was going to get in Band of Brothers. I just thought, I'll audition for it. And that was again another 5 or 6 auditions, meeting Tom Hanks, and then you're getting closer and closer. And you're like, oh my God, I'm in possibly with a chance here of getting a small part in it.
And that's where you met Stephen.
That's where I met Stephen Graham. Yeah. And loads of so many amazing actors from that.
So many, yeah. Loads of people were in that. You were in like 9 episodes of it. You were in loads, Band of Brothers. And during that time, did you ever think, maybe I'll write or direct? Was there that hankering already? Was that already in you? Do you think? Yeah, I mean, for like maybe not then, but after I'd done a couple of other bits and bobs, I was like, I think I'd always been interested in it, like from an early age, like from the age of like 12, 13. I was always interested in how I'm making of things and how it all works and sort of behind the scenes and all that kind of stuff. I went to Granada Studios tour in Manchester when I was a kid, and like they have, you get on the Coronation Street set, and I just, it was just like, oh my God, this is magic. This is so exciting, you know? Yeah. So I did that, and then just from there, really, I was really interested, but I never had the ball to. I just always thought, I'm just like some little kid from.
Was it a doubt?
It was massive, yeah. It was huge, yeah. Because you do put, directors on a pedestal, don't you? You make them. I certainly did anyway. The way I got into the industry, no training or whatnot, and I just thought, I'm never going to do that. I'm just going to be an actor. But like deep down, I was always really just passionate about how things were made, and I was always the person on set who would always stay behind, and like was really sort of wanted to, like, if I had one scene in something and I was in and out in a day, in a couple of hours, I'd always be like, can I just hang about and just be on set and just hang out?
Cool.
It's interesting to hear the confidence that you had, as you say, the cheeky, chappy scouser as an actor, and then the doubt that you had inside you for the other side. Maybe that's because it was such a different skill set. The acting is, it's a part of yourself, but when you're directing, you have to have a technical skill set and creative and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And it's that daunting feeling of having to, be in control of everything, really. Not necessarily in control and in charge of it all. I mean, and I've learned since that, you can't be expert in every single field. You've got to give people their, people are experts in their own fields for a reason. So it's all about collaboration. But, understanding everybody's job to a certain degree is important. But for me, I thought, you need to have all these qualifications and you need to have gone to film school and learnt about it. But actually, when I decided to sort of make the leap and make something, the first short I did, I spoke to a producer friend of mine and I was like, can you recommend any good film schools for me to go to learn the technical side of it? And he was like, you've been in film school for the last 20 odd years as an actor. I'm like, oh my God, yeah. He said, you understand how it all works, right? I'm like, yeah, I do actually, yeah. And when you start thinking about it, you're like, no, I know, I know it all, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, you take it in as you go, and then you just it's logged without you actually knowing it.
It's a subconscious thing, yeah. Totally.
You understand. It's really interesting. Same for me. I didn't think I was going to take to it. You just don't. But actually, you go, oh my God.
I didn't think you had.
Shut up. You've been on so many film sets and you've seen it and you've seen what a first AD does. You've seen what the DP does. You understand it. You understand lenses even a little bit to know that the difference between a close-up and a wide, what performances you should slightly do differently. Yeah. And I think a lot of actors could make good directors. It's just that mentality is so different. When you're an actor, you just turn up, hit your mark in a way, say your lines, hopefully in the right order, hopefully do a good performance, and you fuck off. You get fed. Someone drives you there and back. As a director, producer,
it's great, isn't it? Yeah,
it would frighten the life out of me to direct.
Would it?
It would literally. I don't know how. Frighten the life out of me. Yeah, but as Giles and I both produce as well, and I think you do as well, Phil, don't you?
Yeah.
It's that I'm like, fine, all day long. Give me a question, I'll answer it like that. But to actually have to step into your shoes as directors, I think I'd freak. I'd probably end up doing it because as we've said on this podcast, we do log it. And as actors, we know that anyway. Yeah, you'll find that you'll get on set for the first day. If you want to direct something, you'll get on set for the first day and you'll be like, after 5 minutes, you'll be like, oh yeah, I'm in. You definitely would. No, I'm definitely not.
But you could, if you wanted to, you could do it, Lucinda. It's one of those things that you have to want to direct because it's so hard that you have to have so many things in your head. I remember on the first feature I did, maybe you were the same on Villain, I was like, with the Dare, I was like, get my first shot done. Just turn over the camera. And I remember a lot of people weren't ready, but they were just fanning around, like getting ready for the first shot. So I just shouted, turn over really loudly. And suddenly everyone just went... And I just remember doing that first shot going, I've done it now. Your first shot's in the can. You know what I mean? You've done it. You're a film director? Question mark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we've both done, you've done loads of shorts, I've done shorts, loads of promos, adverts, you've done all that. So you're used to it. But oh my God, to have all that in your head as a director when you're making a feature it's insane.
And did you write that? You wrote the first one?
Yeah, I did. I wrote that, co-wrote that with Johnny Grant. And I love co-writing. But yes, you've got to have it in your head. You have to have every sort of shot, every edit, every bit. And wow, I feel it's full on. How did you prepare then for Villain? This is your first feature as a director. You'd made shorts by then, including the short of Boiling Point. But
I'd like to know how it came to you as well.
Yeah, so let's talk about how it came to you and how you got in the mindset for going, shit, I'm directing a feature film here.
It was kind of unexpected because I'd done Boiling Point, the short. And Bart Rispoli, who is the producer of Boiling Point, the short and the feature, he's again another Band of Brothers friend. He was in that. He's now producing, but he called me actually the day after we'd wrapped on Boiling Point, the short, and he said, "Look, I've got this script. I've had it for a little while. Craig Fairbrass is attached to play the lead in it, and we've got the money pretty much ready to go. We were just, looking for directors, and so I read it." And I thought it was great. And I just sort of gave him some notes back. And I was like, look, I think it's great. And I spoke to Craig and about, Craig's played that hard man character a million times. And I just said, look, let's try and move away slightly from that and maybe try and, dive into his vulnerability a little bit and try and crack the shell a bit. And he loved the idea.
And have you worked with Craig before?
Never. So it's the first time meeting him. And he's just a lovely human being. He's amazing. And I think he's a fantastic actor.
He's huge, so tall as well. He's such a presence.
He's massive.
Craig. Yeah.
Huge, yeah. But he's a big softie, you know what I mean? He's a big softie. He probably won't let me saying that.
Definitely not.
But he's got to give off that impression. You know, you do have to give that when you're playing those characters. You have to give off that impression. You can't, you know, because people then might take the piss, and he doesn't want to be taking the piss out of. So yeah, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Get it. Yeah.
So that came to me that way, and Bart was like, "Look, we've got the money to ready to go. Tiny budget, you know, but we can do this we can start prepping the next 2 or 3 months." And that was it. We were like, you know, we were off. We were. And I didn't even think about it, to be honest.
Really?
And then we went down to London. We shot it in 18 days, all across London, everywhere, all over London and Essex, begging and borrowing, you know, asking people to use their houses and all this kind of stuff. And so it was an amazing experience, really amazing
got great
experience.
Reviews as well.
Really great,
yeah. I was so pleased, like, and grateful of you know, people got what we were going for. You know, it's a story we've seen it, you know, we've seen that man comes out of prison, tries to do good a million times, but I just wanted to try and, I don't know, make it something a little bit different, like something with a bit more heart.
Put your stamp on it, Phil.
Yeah, exactly. And and it did well in over here and stuff.
Yeah, and did you know at that point, sort of even going into that, obviously you've done Boiling Point, the short, were you trying to make that as the feature at that point? Were you already going, I want to make Boiling Point a feature? Or did this just come to you and then that evolved afterwards? Or were you always trying to make features from?
Yeah, always
short?
trying to make features. And I think Boiling Point was almost like a proof of concept, really, because once we'd shot the short and we did it in one take, it was like, okay, this was, and it worked, and it, you know, it got a bit of traction in festivals and stuff, and it did all right. And so the idea was always to make a feature, but we weren't sure what sort of avenue we wanted to go down. We had some ideas, James Cummings and I, who wrote it, of maybe having the opening 20 minutes of the feature as the short, one take, and then sort of go into a conventional way of shooting with cuts and edits and whatnot. But it just wasn't like, we just weren't feeling excited about it, you know? So we decided to, I mean, literally when I was shooting Villain one day, I just was thinking about how could we do this? What would get people excited? And I thought of a restaurant in my head. My mate's got a restaurant in Dalston. And I thought, if we could shoot it in there, because I'd worked there as a chef. I worked as a chef while I was acting.
There you go.
Well.
That's where the idea
So were you shooting one film and thinking about another at the same time?
I was, yeah.
So you can multitask, Phil?
Well, I can, yeah, but not when you ask me to perform. No, but I was just like, right, okay. And I just mapped all the whole of the feature out in my head. And I was thinking, okay, we could definitely do this in one take. I know it's been done before, you know, Victoria, Russian Ark, all those kind of really cool movies.
Why did you want to do it in one take? Why was that a thing?
Well, because of the short was like, it was a slice of life, you know what I mean? I wanted to sort of give the audience that feeling of being in this environment for an hour and a half and literally dropping the audience in and then pulling them back out again. And, you know, if you go through a service, anyone who's worked in hospitality or as a waiter or as a chef or whatever, that's how it is. It's just constant on the go. It doesn't stop. It's, you know, there's no breather. And I wanted to give the audience that feeling. And we could have done it conventionally with cuts and stuff like that and make it really fast paced. But I always thought there's something quite, you know, just putting the audience in that where they sort of can't take their eyes off the screen and they're not allowed to breathe, if you like, for a bit.
You definitely achieved that as well, because it had kind of
thank you.
Raw, I don't want to say documentary style, but a little bit like that.
It's immersive. You're right. You can't take your eyes off the screen because you don't want to miss something, because you are the eyes of the camera. You're following it around, so you might miss a bit. Whereas, like say with conventional cuts, we're going to tell the audience they're putting something in their pocket or moving a knife because you do a close up of it. Here you can't, so you can't take your eyes off it. But I loved this as a one take movie. I thought it was outstanding.
Thanks,
I thought it was beautiful to watch. Thought performances were, off the chart in terms of reality. I've worked in hospitality a lot when I was acting. I was a waiter. I was in those restaurants.
Of course you did.
Of course I did.
Right.
A silk service waiter, BAFTA nominated, all that shit, working as a waiter. It happens.
No dream team.
No dream team for me, pal.
No. Michelin stars all the way,
Michelin stars. And it honestly brought it all back. The chefs, my chefs were even more of a dickheads than, Stephen Graham. I'm way way more. They were horrible bastards, and I wish that I had the balls to go, oh, you go fuck yourself. But you can't. All the people who are eating there, and you're so nice to them, and no worries, we'll get you a free drink. Fuck off.
Oh no, yeah. Then you go out the back and scream.
And you're just like, and you're not allowed to eat. You're not allowed to. Oh, anyway, it reminded me of it, and I loved it, and it really took me there. And I'm so glad you did this as a one take. It elevates it.
Thanks.
I think it would have been great anyway. But I think a one-take movie really works. So it was a great decision. I think it's a really great decision. Yeah. Did you have any kickback from doing it as a one-take?
To be honest, no, because we had the short as a proof of concept.
Right.
And, everyone that we showed it to, all the financiers and stuff like that, were like, yeah, we're in. And it just excited people, I think. And obviously, as soon as you get Stephen Graham to say yes to a one-take movie, everybody's in. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in.
With the short as well, because that's really interesting why you wanted to make that as a one take. But I was talking to Jonas Armstrong about this because he was just in our last film, 3 Day Millionaire.
Oh, right.
Because he was in the short version. Obviously, he couldn't do the main feature, sadly. But he was saying how brilliant it was and how he enjoyed working with you. And he brought it up and he was talking about it. And I was like, Phil Barantini from the feature. He went, yeah, fucking love doing it, mate. It was fucking one take. It was immersive. It was fucking, and you were just...
That's a great
just like
impression. Thanks, mate. Just like that.
So that's a really good
And it was really nice to hear him talk. How actors often, they go, oh yeah, I did that film and whatever. But when someone talks about the passion, it's really nice. And actors love that. That's why I love doing long takes. I love doing as much of a one-er as possible within takes because actors love it. Here, right, you're doing the whole thing as a one-er, so there's so many problems. But let's see what you learned from the short first, that obviously you could take into the feature. So making this short film as a one-er, Boiling Point short film, how did you do it? How did you plan it? Because you've got to cook, you've got to make shit, you've got to use a restaurant, you've got to have people who are capable and just sat waiting for their moment to come back and come alive again, and you've got to have them be quiet in between. Yeah. Talk us through how you did it.
Well, with the short, we shot it in a we had to find the location because finding the location was key before we wrote the script because, if you write a script in that with a one take and then you get to locations and they're all different, you have to change everything and it's
annoying.
So doing it the other way around. Once we found the location, where the short was a catering college in Manchester, which most catering colleges, they have their own restaurants, which, people, that's where they train. That's where they learn, in a real working restaurant. We did that one there and we had 3 days basically with the actors and the crew.
Wow.
But prior to that, myself and Matt Lewis, my DP, who shot everything I've done, including Responder.
Excellent.
So we'd go down there, after hours or whenever we could, and we'd map it out together and I'd be there playing every character and running about and doing this and again. So, but the rule that we gave ourselves for the short was that the camera never leaves Stephen. It only follows Stephen. Once we knew that, I would play Stephen and we'd do the camera moves and stuff like that. But then obviously panning across and whipping and stuff like that, we planned that during the 2-day rehearsal. So we did Friday, Saturday, Sunday in December 2018. We get all the actors in, we workshop the script. So we got the dialogue homed in and made sure it was like, they knew what needed to be said. But I didn't want them to be bogged down by the dialogue because I wanted it to be quite natural and realistic. So I just said the key thing for me, for each actor, was listen to each other, because don't feel like, oh, my line's coming up, I need to say it now. And then you mess it up and you say it at the wrong time, or, you're not listening. Because when you're working alongside Stephen Graham, you've got to be ready. You've got to be ready. That was the key. But in terms of like the training for them, Jonas and Stephen, I took them to a restaurant in Manchester and we had some dinner and then we went into the kitchen. And this was a really fancy restaurant in the Midland Hotel in Manchester. So we go down and go, yeah, guys, I'm going to show you the kitchen. We're going to have a look now. And so we went out the back and it was like the most calm, zen kitchen. It had like calm music playing. Wow. Everybody had their own little thing. I'm like, oh shit, this is not it. This is not how it is. Guys, I'm sorry. This is not what I expected. And then the chef was like, oh no, we've got another restaurant in the hotel, which is like a steak restaurant.
Much more.
He said, so let me take you down to there. Yeah. So we went into the basement, went into this restaurant and it was just mayhem in there. I was like, yes, it was boiling hot. Mm-hmm. So we stayed in there for an hour and they just watched and I just explained, this is what you're doing, Jonas, that's your job. So keep an eye on that person. Same with Stephen. And then we had some chefs come in, friends of mine who I'd worked with as a consultant, and they showed them how to plate up one dish each. And that's all they did, just that plating up, So when we panned down to the food, they look like they know what they're doing, but they were actually shitting themselves,
It's a bit like a production line in a kitchen, is it? I've never worked in a kitchen.
Well, it is. It kind of is, I suppose, because you've got the chefs at the back who are cooking everything, and then they pass you the food. And if you're on the pass, you have to plate it up. So everything gets passed to you, and then you just plate it up, and that's your job as the head chef or the sous chef in a lot of restaurants.
That's quite stressful.
Oh yeah, it is stressful. Oh yeah. So with the other guys in the back, like any other chefs, I just gave them a job that lasted at least half an hour, 20 minutes. Like you just stir that, pour a bit of water into there, you chop those vegetables, you just clean that fish, just to keep doing that for 20 minutes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And also teaching them how to move like chefs, because you're never going to teach them how to be chefs in 2 days. Sure. So the idea was to teach them how to look like chefs, and chefs move in a certain way, and they pick things up in a certain way. They hold spoons and, things like that, the way to hold a knife and how to chop things.
It's a routine, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So we gave them some training for a couple of days. And then, we just rehearsed it, about 4 or 5 times in its entirety till it was all just muscle memory then for everybody. Camera, sound team, everybody was just amazing. So going into the feature, I knew we could definitely do it. The first thing that we had to sort of overcome was because with the short, we used an Arri Alexa camera mini on an easy rig.
Yeah, which is good in low light, which is good because it's all moody and interesting. Yeah,
exactly. But also it's kind of lightweight. It's a lighter weight camera.
But when you put it on a rig, it's heavy. Yeah.
When you put it on a rig, it's heavy. And also, 20 minutes is enough. So when it came to doing the feature, we had a bunch of ideas on how to do it. And first thing we had to make sure was, is it definitely doable on that type of camera for an hour and a half minimum? So we did a lot of research. The mini, we wouldn't have been able to do it because the SD cards wouldn't have been able to hold that much information.
Yeah.
But then we went to a good friend of mine owns a company it was called Picture Canning back then, but it's now called Canning 24. They've merged with Focus 24. And we said to them, look, is there a way of doing this? Can we do this? And they said, yes, the Sony Venice camera. With the Sony Venice, you can switch out SD cards live.
Of course, because it jumps to the other cards because there's 2 slots, isn't it? Yes. Okay.
So we were like, oh my gosh, so that's a no-brainer. But not only that, it's like we were able to then design a rig. So we had an easy rig on. We'd also then be able to, with the Venice, you can detach the sensor, the lens and the sensor from the body of the camera. So it separates them. So then we had the body of the camera strapped to his back. And then he had the sort of sensor and the lens over his front. There's a picture of him online somewhere on his Instagram of it. Yeah. He looks like a Ghostbuster, basically. It looks nuts. It's mental.
But it balances him out as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Distributed the weight evenly, so he was able to do it for that long. I mean, he's 20. He was 23 at the time when we shot it. He's a fit kid, so I didn't have any sympathy for him whatsoever.
What's his name? Let's big him up because that's cool.
Matthew Lewis.
It's Matthew Lewis. Yeah. Right.
Fantastic. He's a wonderful DP.
How long were the rehearsals though for the feature compared to the short?
So, well, you'd think it'd be a lot longer, but it wasn't. So for me and Matt, we rehearsed for about 3 weeks with the camera. We got into the space, and because it's my mate's restaurant, he just let us be there all the time. Wow. During busy services, after hours, we were there. And me and Matt would just, we would just literally do the same thing. We'd map out the moves, and then we would draw it out, and then we sort of broke the script down into scenes, if you like, into beats. So we'd do beat 1, and we'd map that out, and then we connect that to beat 2, and then and so on and so forth. So once we did that, we then did it in its entirety. This is all he was doing it with his iPhone at first.
Yeah.
And then he upgraded to a DSLR.
That would have been lighter than the Sony Venice.
I know that, yeah, but you want to do it properly done. You want to do it properly, don't you?
Of course you do want to do it properly, yeah.
I'm taking the mickey,
and Soderbergh had already shot on the iPhone, and you're like, it's been done.
Yeah,
all right.
He's done. It's been done. Well, so was a one take though.
Yeah.
So once we had got the moves down of the camera, we felt very confident then when the actors came in. So I had all of the anyone playing like front of house staff or customers would come in first, and we'd sit down and them in their positions, and I would go through their little moments or whatever, you know what I mean? We talk about character, and we talked about that, over the phone or Zoom for a while before. It wasn't Zoom actually then, because this is before COVID, and it was Skype.
Back when Skype was a real thing. Yeah.
So then, we did that. We talked through their little moments and stuff. And then we got Stephen and the kitchen staff in for 5 days.
Wow.
You shot the whole thing in 5 days, or rehearsed for 5 days?
So the rehearsals, was 5 days basically, plus the week before with the other actors, but we didn't do the whole thing in its entirety. So when Stephen came in, we were like, let's just start at the beginning. So again, we did it in beats. We do beat 1, which is where he walks in and then he goes to get changed. And that was beat 1. So then we do beat 1 and beat 2. And then we go back 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we build it like that. So until we got to the end, and it was just like a huge relief. Then I'd have loads of notes, and we'd talk about it. And then we said, let's give it a go in its entirety. Let's just go for one. So we rehearsed it. During the second week of rehearsals, which is the week that Stephen was in, I insisted that the camera had a full team on, and the sound had the full team.
So you knew, they knew where they could and couldn't go, because you can't have a boom dropping in. I mean,
no, so you can't just turn up on the day and be like, oh, I'll just be over here. Oh shit, I'm in the way.
Yeah.
So we had to, that also had to be, they had to know exactly their moves. And it was just an ever evolving thing really, because one minute you're like, oh, I can't be there. So we'd change position of the actor slightly, and so it just changed as we went along.
It's like a ballet.
And then we did it in some time. It was. It is like a choreographed dance. And then once we got to the end, then we did it in its entirety. And, I was just like blown away by these actors and the crew that were just, because everybody was just so enthusiastic and passionate about the project. And you could feel that, there's nobody that be there like, oh, I can't be asked, I don't want to be here, sometimes you get that, don't you, with some crew, they just, I don't know, but everyone was just like, everyone was switched on and ready for it.
Because you've got a goal, right? And it must have been such a joy, right? At the end of an hour and a half take, where nothing went wrong and the performances were on point, where you almost just looked at each other and almost, because that elation must have felt so much better than week 3 when you get a car going by shot, you know what I mean? When you're doing a full shoot. It must have been an incredible feeling.
I mean, the room, the whole place just erupted, it was like we'd won the World Cup.
Yeah.
It was literally like that. And especially when we actually went for a take and we did so we shot it in March 2020, right?
Just before the pandemic, right?
Just before the pandemic, yeah.
I was really lucky.
Oh my God. You don't. Every day I just think, because here's another thing, right? Originally, when we said we were going to do it, Stephen's window that he had was in April.
Right.
Because he was doing this other movie, right? Then last minute, probably a month before we were about to shoot, he was like, guys, my window's moved. This film's been, some of the money's dropped out. So I'm not going to be doing that. The next thing I'm going to be doing now is in May or something, whatever it was. But I want to do it sooner if we can. So can we do it in March? And we were like, yeah, let's do it. We were kind of ready, you know what I mean? Because we were sort of waiting for Stevens for this. So we had everything pretty much ready to go. So we were like, let's do it. Let's just do it in these dates. And we set these dates. I mean, we just pulled some dates in March out of our hats, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Sorry, I don't know if you can hear my daughter there. My daughter's just come home from school. And so we gave ourselves 4 days to do it. We were going to do it twice a day. So that was 8 goes in total that we had. So I was like, we got loads of goes. So on the first day of shoot, we did it twice. We did it in its entirety. We got to the end. It was great. But I had a load of notes for the actors and for the crew and just little tiny tweaks.
It's like doing a matinee and evening performance, isn't it, actually?
Yeah, you're right.
It's a play.
It's a play. Yeah, it's a play.
It's a play. It is a play. It is a play. And so, and then we did it again and it was great. And then so that night I was like, okay, we've got another 6 goes of this. We're going to get an amazing take. We're going to get the one we want and, it's going to be relaxed and all that stuff. And then the producers called me after the first night and were like, bear in mind this during rehearsals and all that, the last week of rehearsals, the COVID was sort of like a little, there was whisperings of stuff and people were washing their hands. That was it. There was no masks. We were all, bear in mind, there's 150 plus people on set, cast, crew, all the SAs,
of course.
Everybody on set at the same time. So it was a COVID nightmare, right? But we were all hugging each other when we came in the mornings and stuff like that. So, but there was a few people getting quite nervous about it, and we had a few dropouts after the first day.
Right.
Yeah, a couple of crew members dropped out and stuff like that. An actress pulled out because she was pregnant and she was too early to tell her family or or friends.
Oh gosh.
What were your shoot dates? Because our lockdown started March the 23rd.
Yeah, so
didn't it, if I can remember?
So I think it was the 18th of March was our shoot dates. Whatever that Monday was, the Monday, then we did 2 days. Yeah. So after the first day, the producers were like, tomorrow's our last day. We're going to have to shut it down.
Shit.
I was like, you are kidding me. And everyone was getting nervous. So we were like, shit, okay, we've got to get this now. So that was an extra layer of tension and pressure that I had. But everyone smashed it.
So we did 4 takes instead of 8?
4 takes in total. Yeah. And the third take is the one that we've used. Like, look, the second day, the third take was the performances as you've seen them. But there was a lot of technical, small little things that I wasn't too happy about. Like there was some shadows and some reflections and a couple of focus things. And so I was like, okay, we've got the last one. This next one is going to be perfect. Yeah. And I was praying.
Yeah.
Technically, it was absolutely flawless. Like it was the DP, Matt was just over the moon. Like he was doing somersaults. But the performances were slightly flatter because everyone was knackered.
And they just delivered in the last take 3 where they give it, and then you try and recreate that sometimes. And you go, well, last time I did that and it works.
It was like they were dialing it in, you know what I mean? I mean, to be honest, on the day I was trying to watch everything, but mainly I was watching the technical side because I didn't want any mess ups because I was like, this is the last go. When we got through it, I was like elated. And I sort of said to everyone, that was the one, take 4, it's perfect. And the actors were like, no, it wasn't. Yeah. No, it wasn't perfect. I didn't feel it.
Yeah. But to be honest, as an audience member, when you're watching these wonderful performances, if you see a shadow, if there's something technical, it's you're watching it for the characters that you're in and you're living with in that moment.
Well, that's the thing. We were able to, like, looking back, I had a week off where I was just reflecting on it, and then I watched the 2 takes back to back. And there was a load of shadows and reflections, but I spoke to Bart and we were like, we can get rid of that in post. We can do some VFX stuff, or even in the grade.
Yes, darken it down a bit.
And that's what we did, and it worked. Because like exactly what you just said there, Lucinda. It's like if the audience are watching the technical side of it, then we've completely lost them
anyway. Yeah,
it's all about performance, as you guys know as actors yourselves. It's like it's got to be performance because that's what the audience are there
That's
for.
what they're watching. And do you know what? Even if a boom came in, we'd have gone, all right, fair play. You do know what? Because I still believed in the performances and what was happening, and I wouldn't give a shit if there was a shadow or whatever, because it was just so immersive. There was also some amazing moments of stillness and silence and truth and that emotional beat that you just added in. I love the layers of that. You didn't expand on them. We would have found out tomorrow when we come back to the restaurant again type thing, because it's one night at the restaurant if the restaurant continues the next day. And I love that. I love that we got a glimpse into these people's lives.
Oh, that's good.
You did it with nearly everyone in the cast, and I really enjoyed that a lot. I thought that everyone had a moment to shine. Everyone had a really great moment. Everyone was on edge, and I think that's why I think this is magical. It's a really magically well written, which I think really helps, because people can do a one shot, but to get the emotional heft and the heartbeats, and it's really great, mate. It's fucking brilliant. It really is.
I mean, it's been you find yourself looking at people's comments and reviews and stuff, and like some people are like, oh, I just wish some of the stories would have continued, but you're like, but I can't do it unless you want a movie that's 4 hours long.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But, it's impossible.
So positive.
I suppose. More. Yeah. You're right. But like people saying, I wish I'd have gone back to that character or whatever. But and then other people are like,
everyone's got something to say though.
Oh, of course they have. Yeah. And that's fine. That's good.
Yeah. So having Stephen then obviously in your short, and is that because you knew him just to, and it was just ask, it was a case of, do you want to do this? I'm doing a one shot. Sure. Are you free any date? How did you get him in the first place?
Well, basically what happened was the first short I ever did, Seconds Out.
Yes.
I wanted him to be in that, to play just a small role as a boxing trainer. And I called him up and I was like, I've got this short, it's my first short I'm doing, and, I'd love you to be in it. And he was just like, well, I mean, and I respect him for this now. He's just sort of said, get your first one out the way first. Let's see how you get on, and then we'll talk. Yeah, exactly.
I'm Stephen fucking Graham, mate. I'm gonna fucking do
I'm not just gonna put myself in any shit.
Yeah.
So then I showed him the short, and he really loved it, and he just sort of said, "What do you want to do next? You must be wanting to do with other stuff." And I'd had the idea for Boiling Point.
Right.
So while he's on the phone, I was like, "Yeah, I've got this idea for this chef thing, thinking about maybe shooting all in one take." And he was like, oh yeah, okay. And I wanted to just say to him, I want you to play the chef, but I didn't want to be rejected again.
Yeah, just dangled the carrot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And I sort of tried to pitch it as best I could. And he was just like, and then he went to me, "Oh, mate, so you're obviously going to play that character because, you've been a chef and you know that well." I was like, No, I don't want to play it. I don't want to be in it. I just want to direct it. And he's like, "Oh, who are you gonna get then?" And I was like, "Well, it's got to be someone who really can embody that sort of all this stuff." And I want some really great. Well. And he was like, and then he sort of went, "Are you asking me to do it?" I was like, he said, "Because if you can do it in December, I'll give you 3 days if you'll have me." I was like, Wait, what?
Sorry,
I'll do it in one.
I'll do it in one, mate. Is that a contract?
Yeah.
I'm in.
Let's do it. We hadn't even written the script yet. I was just like, it was just an idea.
How great, though, to be in that position. And it does help knowing him, but also having made a great short to prove to him. And then obviously he said yes, but then he probably still wanted the script before he fully committed. But yeah, totally. I mean, I gave him like every step of the way, we gave him like the breakdown of the sort of beat by beat, and then we wrote the script, and he gave us some notes and fantastic notes. He was so involved in that, in the character and the working of it and stuff. So yeah, it was amazing. And he sort of said, "Look, if you want to do this seriously," which I said, I absolutely do. Like after being on the first short, I just felt like it was something I was like, all of that fear and, I can't do this. I'm not, I'm not sort of educated enough or whatever it may be. It just went out the window when I did the first short. And going back to what we said earlier, like you just got to get through that and sort of, I always say to people, just jump off the cliff, and what's the worst that can happen? Yeah, doesn't matter. Just put it on your shelf and forget about it. You don't have to put it out. Yeah.
It's interesting that you just said, just going back to a comment that you just made about feeling not educated enough. Is that's obviously because you didn't go to film school and
exactly
whoever said to you, you've been on a set for the last 20 years.
Yeah, Bart said that to me,
because people can be a little bit, is the word elitist?
Yeah. It's definitely there, isn't it?
About letting people in.
Well, and it definitely used to be like that from actors going to directors. I definitely think, certainly when I was trying to be a director 15 years ago or whatever, when I started to really think about it, and definitely 10 years ago, it was a little bit like, but you're an actor. You know what I mean? There really was that nepotism, I suppose. No, that's the wrong word.
Yeah.
What is the word? You're right. It is that. Not elitist is wrong. But
I don't want to say snobby either.
No,
it's
but there is a word for it. No. And there's that kind of, but you're an actor. Why are you, don't take our jobs. Don't type.
There's always that like, and I've noticed it now, even being as a crew member, as a director, it's like, there is that weird different, like first when we did the short of Boiling Point, it was weird because like suddenly I'm the director, and I'm trying to hang out with the actors as an actor, you know what I mean? Like you do in the green room, and you're just like, oh no, I've got to be over there.
Yeah.
I need to be with the crew or whatever. And then it's like,
you've got to have a separation, haven't you?
Yeah, you do. And suddenly there's this there's a lot of banter between crew on film sets, and like I wasn't used to that banter because I've never been
that side,
a part of it. Yeah. Sort of like an outsider being like, oh yeah, I know all about that, the lights and stuff.
The light thing, the things that shine a bit. Yeah,
I'm really cool. Yeah.
I know, I love that. And do you know what? I haven't talked about that for ages, and it's so true. Is when you're directing, you suddenly can't hang out with the actors like you would when you're an actor. You can't be busy mates with them. Your crew are your busy mates. Now this is your tribe because you're the ones making this together. You're in the trenches from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. or whatever times you're on. It's you guys doing it. The actors do just turn up and hit their marks, being, not in your case, not with Boiling Point, but certainly most of the time. And that's the language you have to learn, I think, going from acting to directing. It's the language of crew. It's the language of being on set as a crew member.
You found it difficult, didn't you, Giles?
At first, I couldn't cope with not being able to hang around with the actors, and I had to be really strict with myself and just say, no, don't have one quick beer if you're going to do that, one quick hello, and then go off and prep for your next day. I could not do it, and I had to be strict.
And it's weird, isn't it, when you see them all hanging out and you're like, oh, That's what I used to be. I mean, like, you feel like a bit of a loner.
Yeah, you feel like you're missing out. And
you do,
and you're not their boss is the wrong word, but you're kind of in charge of them. And if you become too busy, mates, the next day they might go, I ain't fucking doing that, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Last night you were telling me some story.
You're captain of the ship, though.
Yes, you're the captain.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And you've got to steer it right. And that means you can't hang out sometimes with the people you want to hang out with. And that's tough, I think, going from acting to directing. That's the tough one.
But you can hang out with your producer.
Yes, you can.
Who also used to be an actress.
There you go, yes.
In a BAFTA-winning TV show.
Well, nearly winning. Nearly winning. So let's not big it up.
Nominated.
I like feel that you carried on the joke.
Carried on that old banter. It's going to keep going this whole one now.
I know.
So now you got Stephen in the short, and now moving to the feature, you'd made Villain. Was it an easier? You said you've got Stephen, so it becomes an easier. Was getting the money, because money is always difficult for filmmakers. Yeah. Was it a bit easier? Because I noticed at the start of the film there was about how many film companies at the start on your logos.
45 minutes.
I know of logos. I was like, how many? This is amazing. Obviously it wasn't easy, but you've got Stephen Graham.
Well, it was easy. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really get involved in that side of it, but I know that, you know, there was a lot of people putting money in, but people put it in willingly because of Stephen. But yeah, it was actually from when we said we'd do it, you know, when Stephen had his window, and then we had to scramble to get it, sooner. I think obviously the producers struggled a bit, but they got it. They got the money, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it didn't need a huge budget, because when you think about it, you know, we were shooting for 4 days. Well, 2 days in the end. Mm-hmm. We paid everyone for the 4 days, but shooting for 2 days. Yep. And we rehearsed for probably the best part of 3 weeks. The crew came in a week before, so it was a week and 4 days with the crew.
So less time spent paying everyone.
10 days.
Yeah, so cheaper.
So so cheaper that way. Yeah, one location, absolutely. None of the like. I've not been fortunate on anything to have like not Video Village trucks and bases and all that kind of stuff. Facilities, yeah, but. You know, when I did the TV show, the responder, that was like, again, it's like, oh my God,
caravan for me. I don't need that.
Yeah, literally.
You're really grateful, aren't you? When you've come from low budget indies and then all of a sudden there's a makeup truck. Oh my God. It's like...
Yeah,
it's like gold.
He's normally trying to find a room somewhere to put them in.
Yeah. Someone's car.
Yeah. Catering. Let's go Pizza Hut.
It's basically, and everyone's getting the same food again. Yeah, and you're like, sorry. Shit, we're trying to make a movie. That's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, so it is that different. It really is. And
it totally is. And it happened quite quickly, like you said. And then, we were on set and then we weren't on set after 2 days of shoot. So
Can't imagine how you felt.
No, I can't imagine how you felt. Honestly, it must have. And when you said it's like winning the World Cup, I wish I'd been there. Yeah. I wish I'd been there, because that feeling must have just been like, you don't often get that on a film set, because you're doing minutiae details constantly. Right. It's little victories every now and again, and hoping it doesn't rain, or hoping the equipment still works, or the actor still, whatever it is. It's little victories. But when you're doing that, that's like you say, winning the World Cup. I wish I was there.
I thought to myself, we did a little behind the scenes things for the short. Right. And I thought, let's document the whole process. Mm-hmm. So we documented, me and James writing the script in Liverpool, up to casting, all the casting, 2 weeks of casting or whatever. And then all the rehearsals, the actors going to chef school, all of that stuff. We've filmed it all. We had a little crew that were filming everything. So we thought, the film does well and people want to know how we made it, then we can make this little documentary. And we've just been commissioned to make a little half-an-hour documentary to go with the movie when it comes out. Brilliant. So I'm buzzing about that, because it's like the first thing that everybody asks me, the first question everyone asks me is it really one take? We didn't. I'm putting that out there. No, I know, and I'm grateful for that. But well,
I nearly asked, actually.
You didn't. Just
being the arsehole on the call. I nearly said, on those 4 takes, was there a section that you took and then...
Because you could have spliced.
Yeah.
You could have.
Well, the thing was, there was talk at one point when, like before we decided we could fix all of those little things in the VFX and stuff. We sort of thought, I wonder if we can splice the beginning of take 3 with the end of take 4, I was just like, I just can't do it. I can't do it.
You want to be proud. One take. Yeah. You
and
want to
the reason
it.
I didn't ask that question of did you is because listening to you describing and going through, the question was answered without me needing to. Of course you didn't.
And if you had of, the fact that you would then admit to splicing means you've advertised this as a one take thing. So it just becomes so you couldn't say even if you didn't, but I know you didn't. You can tell. You can tell you didn't. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can tell.
Oh, good.
And it's beautiful for it. It's beautiful for it. You should be very proud.
Guys.
What have you learned that you're going to take forward to your next movie?
I guess just sort of enjoy it like it's the best job in the world, isn't it? You know what I mean? You can stress out as much as you possibly can, but as you want, but like, at the end of the day, we're not saving lives. Do you know what I mean?
No one will ever understand what you've just said unless they're actually in the industry.
I know that. Because no one cares because they don't see what the blood, sweat and tears that goes into it. But, you know, like going back to, you know, you see some people, like, I know this is probably a bit controversial because we're all actors and I'm an actor, but what's the worst thing that you can do for an actor is give them a job.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get it.
No, because then they're just going to complain about it, moan about it.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got a job. Now what do I do?
No. So when they haven't got a job, they're like, why aren't I in that? Why didn't I get that part? I'm better than them. I'm this and that. When you give them a part, it's like, oh, what you need me? You need me right now. I'm not quite ready. I'm not dressed. Or you know, what? Oh, you want me to do that? Or is this the food we're getting? I'm not getting a lift to set.
when I was an actor, I remember sitting. And I had an actor boyfriend at the time. And I remember sitting with my actor boyfriend and me and going, oh, there's another show I'm not in.
Yeah. It's true. You don't realise. And then when you're a director producer, you suddenly see the other side of it and you go, oh my God, was I even slightly a dick? What was I thinking? Because you don't know what goes into it. You don't see the blood, sweat and the pain. You're just going, well, why can't you pay me more? I don't understand. Why can't this happen? Why aren't you giving me the food? Why aren't you giving me this? There's a lot of reasons.
And that's not just with actors.
Of course.
I'm slating actors. Actors, I still want to work with you guys.
Of course. We love them.
We're going to get loads of calls now. That's it now. Because of you,
no
Philip.
actors want to work with me ever again.
But they should know that actually there's a part of this that actually it's really important to know this. And that's why it's good to work with actor filmmakers as well, because they understand. Lourdes Fabres is one. Stephen Graham's made movies. You know what I mean? All these people have made movies. They understand it. It does make a huge difference. And I bet it made you a better actor, right?
Well, I mean,
he was already wonderful. What are you trying to say, Giles?
Well,
just because you weren't in Dream
nominated
Team.
Over there. Yeah, it's true. I wasn't.
Because you weren't in Dream Team,
Oh dear. But no, I definitely think it made me think about it more and understand what the camera moves and understand what the director was wanting.
Definitely.
So that made me a better actor.
I worked with some awful directors and some amazing directors, but I learned a lot more from the, like, subconsciously from the I'm not saying bad, but I mean, I was treated quite badly on some sets, you know, like when you're young and it's like, you're sort of naive to it. And it's like, you know, again, going back to the directors and being like, wow, that's the director, ever so powerful director. It's a scary thing, you know, but yeah, for me now, I think I've learned so much as an actor that I understand actors and I understand that every actor is different. They all have their own process and their own way of working. And you've got to really tune into that as a director, because, you know, if you don't and you clash with an actor, then it's horrible. It's a horrible experience. You know what I mean? I haven't really experienced it firsthand. I mean, a tiny bit maybe on the TV thing, but not really for, like I say, firsthand. It was, but it's just like, you just need to understand that actors are such vulnerable human beings.
It's their face on screen at the end of the day. They're the one people will be pointing at and tweeting at. Yeah,
exactly. And you've got to have them put their trust in you, and go on this journey together, because, you know, you're working together for however long it is, you know, weeks, months, whatever, years sometimes on TV jobs, whatever, you know. So I think it's really important to have actors trust you. And be sensitive to them. You know?
Yeah, totally.
Look at the way I redeemed that with actors.
You did really well. You dug out of a hole brilliantly well, actually. The grave is now flat.
We applaud you.
It's actually great. There's the actor in him. That's why he's going to be a better actor. See what I mean?
Yeah.
That was great. Honestly, look, Boiling Point's amazing. It's out the 3rd of December. It's amazing. It's immersive, brilliant. If you can catch it at a film festival before then, please do, because then you can brag to all your friends how great it is, and then tell everyone to watch it when it comes out 3rd of December. You should be very proud, mate. It's really brilliant.
Thank you, mate.
Really well
Thanks,
done.
guys.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us, Filmmakers Podcast. Phil Barantini. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Where can people find you on the Twitter spheres and on the Instagram?
I've just come back on Twitter. Just my name, Philip Barantini, at Philip Barantini, yeah. And then Instagram is just at Barantini. Don't do Facebook or anything like that, but yeah.
Do go follow him. Give him so much love and support, especially for being honest and open on this podcast, but also for making a brilliant film. And it really does make a difference when you do tweet or contact directors who've been on and you like their work. Honestly, it really does. People don't do it. You should do it. It makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Don't be a stalker, though.
Yeah. Definitely don't be a stalker, though.
Don't send me anything in the post.
Yeah, we definitely don't need that. No, I do need some new trainers, so
Yeah.
Wow.
Brilliant. Lucinda, where can they follow you?
At
Jesus, you can't remember?
No pressure. At dreamteam.com.
Dreamteam.com. It's true. Past dreamteam members.com. Where are they now? .com.
Hashtag bring back Dream Team.
Hashtag nearly BAFTA winner.
Oh, yes.
Listen, I don't know. Forget it.
Cool.
You know,
it'll be in the show notes, everyone.
Instagram,
it's all
Twitter.
in the show notes. You'll find it there. Remember, you can go out there and make your indie film, know who your audience is, and get out there and do it. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is your duty to send the elevator back down. We will see you all next Tuesday. As always, take care, go make your films, and tell your friends about the Filmmakers Podcast. Until next time, bye, Lucinda.
Bye, Giles.
Bye-bye. And Phil, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Amazing.
I don't know my Twitter or I don't know my handles.
It's just Lucinda Rhodes Takra. I mean, it's
do you know your name?
Yeah, exactly. It's just your name.
Oh, can you cut that bit out?
No, I'm keeping it in. And this bit.
Brilliant. And this bit.
This is the outro bit now. The comedy factor. Oh, well done.